The more Ephraim makes excuses, the more he loves us. So we have a good father.
Yes.
The problem ain't Papa. The problem is us, his son. That's the problem.
Amen.
He took us out of Mizraim. He can't give up on us now. He won't execute the fierceness of his anger. Yeshua is not coming to Har Zion to destroy Ephraim, but to take Ephraim back into his arms. Look at the end of verse 9. This is what's going to happen soon, folks. The final exodus from the nations back to the land and back to Yahuwah in Ruach. For I am El, I am not a man. I'm the Kadosh one. I won't deal with you as a lover who's spurned. I won't come to you in full hatred and enmity. I'm not a man. I'm not coming against you to get vengeance. I'm coming to save you from yourself. You and your family and your commitment to backsliding with one foot in the church. You want to know something? You heard me say this for years. So sisters and brothers, don't take this personally. I'm not angry at anybody. I'm not against anybody. I'm not upset with anybody. My tune has never changed. You don't like what I'm saying? At least give me this much. I'm consistent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If the truth is in the church, get your Zionist backside into the church and don't come here.
Exactly.
That's not a good way to build congregations. I understand that.
It's truth, though.
But if Israel is the truth, I don't have the truth. You're not coming here because I have it. We are a lifestyle that was given to our forefathers, Israel. If the lifestyle and the ways of Israel are where the Torah and Yeshua are both being lifted up and studied, then plant yourself here and let your friends be double-minded. Because a double-minded man and a double-minded woman is unstable, not in some, but in all their ways. Let them be, but not you. You go and serve Yahuwah Elohim with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Take that foot out of the church world. And the Messianic movement, unfortunately, is nothing but a shadow and a partner and a kissing cousin of the church world. Verse 10. They have their halacha in Yahuwah. He shall roar like a lion.
Yes.
When he shall roar, the second coming, the children of Israel shall tremble from the west. Most of the 10 tribes are in the west. Australia, wherever that is, down south, right? The U.S., Canada, Mexico, the Americas, north, central, south. They're in the west, west of Israel, west of Jerusalem. They went to the west from the east. First they went up north, east, Assyria, Caucasus Mountains, Baltic Sea, Black Sea. Then they immigrated south and west to Europe. From Europe, colonialism, the colonies, to the North America, the Americas. Today Ephraim is primarily in the west. When Yeshua roars, when he whistles, the children of Israel, those who are married to the Assyrian bondages and the Egyptian bondages that he cut us free from, will come trembling back to the goodness of the Father, primarily from lands west of Israel and west of Jerusalem. 80 to 90% of the seed of Jacob, filling all the nations today, are found west of Israel. There are some east, there are some, but not too many. Can I get a witness?
Amen.
So when they will have their halacha, now look at verse 10, when he will roar like a lion. Who is Yeshua? The lion of the tribe of Yehudah. When the lion of the tribe of Yehudah roars, the children of Israel will come trembling with reverence and the fear of Yahuwah, which is the beginning of wisdom from around the globe, but primarily through to the west, and the Exodus will be on. And that Exodus will be so great that it'll make what we are celebrating today to be a footnote in our people's history.
Amen. Wow.
Because instead of 4 million, it'll be 4 to 5 billion.
That's maybe orders of magnitude greater. Wow.
We'll talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. Look at verse 11. They shall tremble as a bird out of Mitzrayim. Now Mitzrayim is symbolic for the world. This indicates that Yahuwah sees Ephraim as having returned to Egypt thousands of years ago. Don't miss this. Still in Egypt. But you come on Aviv 15 and you think you're free. Because the word says, whom the Son sets free is free indeed. Yeah. True. Can't argue with that. And yet, why are we in bondage to employers and health care and the state for marriage licenses, for child services, for food stamps, and for all the other things that the matriarchal all-mother state provides? If you're really free, how come you can't find someone to circumcise your friends and your child, because you, patriarchs of Israel, should be circumcising your own seed? You make a disciple in the kingdom, you circumcise him. Because we're not really free. We think we're free. One of the heights of deception. Because if you were free, all y'all would be here tomorrow, because that's where your heart is. Your heart is to be here, I understand that. But you're not free. You're not free. So Yahuwah sees you, even though you're celebrating your freedom, you have returned back to Mitzrayim. So in the end days, in this great Exodus, when Yeshua HaMashiach roars as the lion of the tribe of Judah, look what's going to happen in verse 11. You and I, as Ephraim, in the nations, will tremble as a bird. Now, this indicates Yahuwah sees Ephraim as still in Mitzrayim and having returned there hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, actually negating to a point the work of this day. Now you know why Yahuwah's heart is broken? The way you behave now with your wife and your children, no faith, committed to something or someone other than the ways of Yahuwah. You're committed to backsliding. You're celebrating your freedom on the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But when you look yourself in the mirror, if you're honest with yourself, you're about as free as a caged bird. Sad. If it bothers you as much as it bothers the Father, then begin to do something about your predicament. I told the Father, I said, now look, me and Abba had this conversation many years ago. I said, now look, you told me I was a full-time minister. You told me I was a prophet to the nations. You told me you'd send me and you'd make my name known around the world, not because of my own honor, because I saw your honor and your besorah and your blood to sprinkle the nations. So I'm not going to work anymore. You promised me. You told me I would be free of secular employment so that I can dedicate all my time to you and the time that I need to rest to dedicate to you. I will take rest times, but so that I could be strengthened to dedicate to you. And I never worked another day from that day forward. Food for the poor with Ferdinand Mahfoud, feeding the poor in the Caribbean, building homes in the Caribbean. That was my last secular job. Am I great? No. Yahuwah is great. You've got to commit to trust, not commit to the Melech of Ashur and the Melech of Mitzrayim. You've got to commit to trusting him. Baruch Hashem, I've never worked a secular day since then. Baruch Hashem, Yahuwah. We had a serious conversation. Amen. I said amen. Amen. So the bird will come trembling from the west in Egypt. Notice verse 10, it says the west. Don't miss me here. Hosea 11:10 says Ephraim is in the west. The 10 tribes, the northern kingdom of the tabernacle of David is in the west. Amen. Verse 11 says the west is Mitzrayim. Did you get that?
Yeah.
We're going to come out of the west. Next verse, the west is Mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim is not the west.
So don't say you're not in bondage. The Jews are in a different kind of bondage. They have no king but Caesar. Yeah. We have no king but Assyria. Both houses are in bondage. We're celebrating our victory, but there's a real exodus coming. And when that exodus comes, we will never return to Mitzrayim like we have been in the Ruach and in our ways. Amen. This is the latter-day immigration of Israel, Yahuwah's son, back to the land. Verse 12. Hosea 11:12. Ephraim surrounds me with lies. The house of Israel, Beit Yisrael, surrounds me with deception. Really? Yes, I'll obey you. No, stop.